This video will go through the steps on how to create the Drainage and Utilities DGN libraries. The first step in creating the Drainage and Utilities DGN library is to first create what I call a starter file. This starter file is going to come from a 2D seed file. So right now I'm inside of the Bentley Delivered workspace using OpenRoads Designer 2022 R1. I'm going to copy the 2D seed file and paste that inside of the feature definition folder. At this point, we want to rename this file. Next, we want to edit the configuration file so that the suda and su variables point to this starter file. So I'll make a copy of that file name, and then I'm going to be pasting that into this CFG file. So I'm going to be putting this in for the suda seed file variable, as well as the su seed file variable. I'm also going to paste it in for the features DGN lib list. Now I'll save the changes made and then open up a session of OpenRoads. So the next step is to create the drainage DGN library. Now this could also be this could be a drainage and utilities DGN library. If you want to place all those features in the same file, that's fine. I'm going to take the approach where we're breaking them up into two separate files. So we'll create a new file. I'm going to be placing this file inside of the feature definitions folder. Currently, I'm going to keep it as a DGN and then later rename it as a DGN lib. Once in the file, I'm going to delete any coordinate systems that were inside of the seed file. And then I'm going to go to the Drainage and Utilities workflow and create the Drainage and Utilities project. And I'll do that by clicking any of these placement tools. So now this is going to look at that starter file and create a blank Drainage and Utilities project. So now I'm going to create a file for utilities, and I'll follow the same steps. So we'll create a new file, except this file will be for the purpose of utilities. So again, we will remove the coordinate system. And then generate a Drainage and Utilities project in the file. Okay. So we do have those two files that have been created now. We have the one for drainage. We also have the one for utilities, and I'll go ahead and close that file. Now what we did not want to do is just copy this file because it holds a Drainage and Utilities database. And if you copy the file, we're also copying the database. So that's why I created those both individually. Now at this point, I can delete my starter file, rename my two DGNs as DGN libs, and the last step will be to edit the configuration to point to these two files. So for the suda seed file variable, we're going to be pointing to the drainage. And then for the su seed file, we are going to be pointing to the utilities. And then here for my filters, you just choose which DGN lib you want to create those filters in. I'll put them in drainage. And one last note here, if you did have the drainage and utilities features in the same file, then all three of these variables would be pointing to the same file.